Hi BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to do another tag. Today I am doing the Reader Problems tag. I first saw this video over on Lindsay Ray's channel. The original video was done by About to Read, so of course I'll link to both of those down below. I'm really excited to do this tag because it's one of those like hypothetical scenarios tags, and those are some of my favorites. So the first question is, you have a 20,000 pile TBR. How do you decide what to read next? And usually this involves a lot of like staring at my bookshelves and lying down in front of my bookshelves and picking things out of my bookshelves and reading the back or reading the first page or two until something just clicks and rings a bell. You know, usually I have a pretty good hold list at the library, so that kind of dictates what my TBR pile looks like. But for the most part, it's just a matter of like wandering and looking and pondering until I figure out what it is I want to read. You're halfway through a book and you're not loving it. Do you DNF or are you committed? I DNF. I give most books like 50 to 100 pages, and after that, sorry. There's too much to read in the world. Do not feel bad about it at all. DNF, put it down. I won't always like get rid of it. I'll come back to it later usually because I usually figure it's not the book's fault, it's my fault. There's just something with me that's not really clicking in this book with like at this moment, so I'll come back and read it another time. But at the moment, I DNF and I move on to something else. You're so close but so far from your Goodreads challenge and it's the end of the year. Do you try and play catch up? I do, and I usually use graphic novels to do it because they're super easy reads, and there's a bunch of them out there that I enjoy that are serialized, so I'll just get a bunch from the library. The Walking Dead's really good for this. I'm really liking the new Chew collections that are coming out, but yeah, I like seeing that Goodreads challenge completed banner button thing. I don't like stress myself out about it, and if I don't hit it, I'm not like sad, but I will within my ability try and play catch up. The covers of your favorite series don't match. How do you deal? I don't. I move on. It's whatever. It's the story inside that counts. For books that I'm really loving, I'll try and get them all matching from the beginning, or I'll get them in a box set, or I'll go back and repurchase them sometimes, but very rarely. But since I do most of my book shopping from like library book sales or from the half-price bookstore, I just don't have a lot of control with that. So I just kind of roll with the punches and move on. I look for them when I can, and I'll try and get them matching if I can. But if I can't, then c'est la vie. Everyone loves a book you don't. Who do you talk to about it? Okay, this one's easy because anytime I don't like something that everybody else loves or do like something that everybody else hates, I always go to my husband. He's great with stuff like that. He's almost as cynical as I am, and he's very sarcastic. So he just rolls with the punches of the hate and lets me vent and slings it back to me. It really doesn't matter whether or not he's read the book. Usually he hasn't, but I'll tell him enough about it so that he kind of like gets it or what I don't like about it. But yeah, he's my number one go-to for stuff like that. Always has been, probably always will be. How do you deal if a book's making you cry in public? I just cry. I mean, I've done it before. Sometimes if I'm at work, I'll go into the bathroom, or I'll kind of like try and hide it from my coworkers just so they don't think it's like a personal thing, and then I have to explain that no, I'm just lame and crying about a book. Well, lame, but that this book is just making me cry. But yeah, I just roll with it. As you can see from most of these answers, I'm pretty nonchalant. I don't mind crying in public. If a book's that good and it can make me do that, then kudos to the book. Let's see. A sequel's coming out, but you don't remember the previous one. What do you do? Wikipedia it, especially if it's a long one, aka something like the Song of Ice and Fire series, where I'm not rereading all 5 of those books. Sorry, Charlie. Wikipedia it is. How do you say no if people want to borrow? I don't. I let people take stuff from my library all the time. Most of the time I get it back. If I don't get it back, I move on. Like I said, because I get most of my books half price or used from the library, I'm not like as attached to them as if I'd paid like $17.99 for the new paperback that just came out. But yeah, I don't say no. I let people borrow. I don't have any kind of tracking system. Maybe I should. I should probably get better about that. But at the moment, my books are your books, people. How do you get over your reading slump? I reread a book that I know that I like and that I know that I'm going to love. Usually that gets me going. If not, just the sense of finishing something usually does it. So I'll go to short stories or graphic novels, but I'll just kind of keep pushing through and looking and looking and looking. That DNF rule really comes in handy during a reading slump, because if it doesn't have me in the first 50 pages, then I'm over it. But yep, I just will usually go back to an old favorite. That's probably my number one, like, tried and true thing that I do. All of the book of all the books you want, how many do you buy? Not very many. Because I work at a library and I have access and I don't get fines, I'm big on library use. I use the library a lot, as you'll probably notice by the fact that I do like probably 10 times as many library loots as I do actual like book hauls of books that I now own. But yeah, I don't, if it's something that's really, really good, like from an author I know I'm going to love, I will forego the money to buy a hardback just because I know it's going to be in my collection. And when that happens, it's usually just in order of whenever they're coming out because it doesn't happen super frequently. But for the most part, I don't buy my books. I get them from the library, or I'll buy them on my like couple times a year trip to Half Price Books if I can find them for cheap. And the last question, how long do new books sit around before you read them? This depends. New books I get from the library, I try to read within like the month that I get them, only because while I don't get fines, I also don't like to like abuse the library and not return the books that I borrow. If it's something that I bought, it could sit around for months because usually those library books get pushed up to like the front of the TBR for exactly that reason. But yeah, that was my like reader problems tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. I tag anybody who wants to make this video because I want to see everybody's answers. Please let me know if you do make a video like this. And as always, like, comment, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys around the internet. Bye.